Alright, so what we're doing today is rescreening all of the screens. What you'll need for this: a sharp utility knife, a spline roller, and then spline. I've already ripped out a piece of the spline. We're going to just pull the existing screen out, which doesn't even have spline in some of the areas. And this could be reused if it wasn't ripping apart already. So get your spline out of the way. The old screen will basically just pull right out. And then you'll want to just check the entire area, make sure there's nothing, no debris or bugs or anything. It'll prevent the new spline from going right in where it needs to go. Alright, I've got this roll, 36-inch wide, 100-foot long charcoal black screen. Was only like 60 bucks from Lowe's. So I'm going to use that. And then I'm just matching up. Wasn't sure exactly what size spline I would need. Looks to be the correct size. 0.125, which is 1/8 inch. Oh yeah, that's the one. Alright. So I also have this 100-foot long roll of spline. Again, got from Lowe's. I think this was only like $10, $12. So pretty inexpensive. Alright, we're going to clear our workspace. I've got lots of extra sharp blades. All we need is our spline, our roller, and our razor. Let's get this new roll opened up. This is the first time I've ever done this. Watched a couple other YouTube videos. Now I'm making my own. Okay. Sorry about the trains in the background. Okay. I got a price for having all of, how many are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 frames rescreened and 1 new frame being put together and screened. The price was almost $500. It was like $487 to have an actual window place do it. And I was going to have to wait 3 to 5 weeks for it to be done. So you need about a 1-inch overhang everywhere, which I've got more than that on the width. I'll just go ahead and cut right along the screen there. Cuts very easily, especially with a sharp blade. And they offer a couple different levels of screen. You can get pet screen, which is going to be thicker. This is the invisible line, so it basically disappears. And what I'm trying to do is I just want it to look as best as we can. So I just want to make sure that the screen lined up. Not that anybody else will ever notice, but just one of those things. Okay? Alright. So I got that. do is try to make sure that my spline doesn't become completely unrolled. And from what I've seen, so just start in one corner. And you don't need to worry about getting the screen super tight while you're doing this, because it will automatically do that as you roll it in. Okay. I also bought this spline tool at Lowe's. It's like $5, $6. So even if you don't have any other tools to do this, you can pretty quickly and affordably get all the tools you would need to do it to save time instead of waiting for the window company to do this project. You can do it yourself. Save some money, save some time. Ink. Pull this piece out. Okay. Alright, let's roll last little bit in. I actually did start with the smallest window frame, just in case I messed up, there would be the least amount of waste possible. Okay. Just rolling that in there. All right. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it's actually pretty tight everywhere. So now I'm just going to go over it. There's one more piece of spot. The other part of the tool allows you to push it a little bit further in. So I just want to get it all the way rolled in as deep as we can. Make it as tight as possible. Get that spline fully in there, and I can actually see it is going down a little bit further. So we're getting it completely seated in there. Okay. Then we just go around with our razor blade. Use the spline as a guide. You don't have to push very hard to make a cut because it's just vinyl, especially if your knife's sharp. So going around that pin was a little bit of a finesse, but now another part that I'm going to show you shortly is making an entire frame. They actually sell frame kits at Lowe's also. So you can, if you have a frame that's messed up or missing like we had, you can just buy a kit. It was about $24, $25 for the kit to make up to a 60 by 60 window frame, screen frame. And I couldn't remember the exact dimensions, and I didn't want to wait and go back later, so I also bought 2 bars to make a larger, if needed, frame. So let's cut off here. Tiny bit hanging on right here. Okay. So not bad, and it's nice and tight. There's no wrinkles or waves in it. Everything still works. I also noticed at Lowe's that they have the compression springs, all that stuff too. So they do have all the parts and pieces you would need there. That turned out really good. Happy with that. Now let's see if we can get lucky on one of these and reuse the spline. And I'm not sure if there's really any negatives to reusing the spline. Alright, so first let's see if we can find the end of the spline right here. Top that up. I'm going to be a little bit more gentle taking this spline out just to see. And this one still feels a little bit more pliable. Maybe this one wasn't getting as much direct sunlight. Thought I ripped it. Okay. Another thing to note is when you're reusing the spline, the corners do not have to be perfectly in the corners again. You can move it. So, pulling out the screen again. And the house is about to get sold, so having the house be sold, you want everything to be in as best a shape as possible. And the screens were pointed out that they weren't in perfect condition by somebody who came and looked at the house, so rather than spending $500 on getting everything rescreened at a store, I'm just doing it myself. I am a licensed contractor, but for something like this, you definitely would not need to be a licensed contractor. All right. Okay. I'm just going to reuse the spline again. Got everything nice and lined up. There's a little cut, 45-degree, right there on the end. So I am going to try to face that so that when it comes back around, it will make a nice tight seam. This doesn't require a lot of force to get it in there. You just want to kind of have it lined up, roll it back and forth. There we go. This one doesn't seem to be rolling in there as easily as the last one did, but I think that is because the last one was a brand new spline. So I'm just kind of testing out both. This is just like a pizza cutter. So if you used a pizza cutter before, you might be able to do this too. This is not a bad project here. I did wait a couple days since I got the material to do this, but it's a little bit cooler today, so I'm kind of glad I waited. Don't have to get as hot and sweaty doing this project today. I don't know if you can see on camera, but basically pulling that tension, pulling out any wrinkles as we go across. Get this right up into the corner. Okay. Okay. Re-roll everything, get it all completely pressed in there. Okay. Always want to cut away from the screen. Now, if you happen to be rescreening with aluminum, that would be a little bit more forgiving for you. Okay, if you did slip out. I'm just trying to really get this corner tucked down in there. Okay. Cut the other edge. Always cut away from yourself, right? Safety first. Okay, the whole screen away. Guess I'll utilize the chair. Using the back side of my knife to push this in right around these pins and in the corners to really get it tucked down in there tight. Yeah, it's coming together. So I just gotta do this like 7 more times, and then I'll start recording again when I am doing the actual frame, the frame building. You can see how to do that. We'll figure it out together. appreciate you watching. Hopefully you learned something. Like the video, you know, subscribe. Like this video, see more. I post a lot of different stuff. This is coming together. This is not too challenging. Sometimes people make a video, make it look really easy, and it's not. And hopefully I'm not making this look too easy, but it is pretty easy. Probably be a lot harder with aluminum screening, just because it's tougher. And I've heard the PET screen is a lot more challenging to cut. But besides a little bit more of a challenge to cut, I feel like the process would be the same. Come on now. Screen number 2 done. And I'll look at it in the video to see how long it's taken me to do each one of these, but I feel like it's only, you know, 5 or 6 minutes for each one. To save overall on this, like save, I don't know, $300, $400 for an hour of time. I mean, even including the cost of the tools, saved me $300 or $400. Pretty happy about it. Just making sure everything's, especially these corners, is pulled in nice and tight. Screen number 2. Heck yeah. Where are we putting these? Where do I put the other? Probably hard to see that in super speed motion, but what happened was as I was trimming here, there was a slight overlap somehow, and I ended up cutting the screen. Now luckily I've got 3 or 4 inches to play with over here, so all I'm going to do, slip this out of the track. It's not super tight in there like it was before, and once I get it to be just down just a little bit, right, and I've already shifted it over, I've got just enough at the top to be able to rescreen this. So I'm just going to center the frame up again, make sure that the lines will be nice and even. I got enough at the top. Alright, so I pulled this line out. Also, this spacer bar in the middle, there's a little metal clip that hangs over on either side, and that is there so that when you tighten the screen, it doesn't pinch in the sidebars here. At least that's what I've come to discover. So the nice thing is, that wasn't my last cut, so I'm not wasting a whole bunch of screen at all. It's actually really just wasted a little bit of time, and that's not, you know, we're only talking about a little bit of time in this case. So pretty happy with that. So what I've been trying to do is not push the spline in super tight as I go around. I want to just get it started so it's going to stay and put a little bit of tension on it. That way I can get the screen a little bit more spread out and slightly more taut before I push it all the way in, which I think is giving it a nicer finish. I've only watched one YouTube video on this before I did this, just to see if it was worth me trying to do on my own, or if I should really pay a company, you know, almost $50 per screen to do it. A little bit more than $50 per screen, plus, you know, basically 70 bucks to make one more frame. I'm interested in seeing this in high speed, to see if I can actually see this get tighter, but there's almost no wave in it right now. But if I go around, push it in there all the way into the track, I can see it tightening up, but in super speed time lapse, I want to see what it looks like. And what I do is I go around at the end. I could use a screwdriver, but I don't have one out here. Don't feel like going there. Can you get one? And just push my corners in with my knife. So I just use the back side of the knife so I don't cut into it. And I've noticed that I can really tuck that spline down into the corner. It is easier to do if you've already cut your screen, so I'm going to cut the screen along this side. Tuck my spline in right here at the end so it stays nice and tight, taut. But yeah, this really isn't too bad. The worst part is just being leaned over like this. My back getting a little bit sore. Screen wants to play hard to get now. So I also just re-gripped a few of my golf clubs the other day. That was not very difficult at all. So I'm glad I know how to do that. And I do feel like it made a big difference on how tired my hands were, my grip strength was, because it got slightly larger grips. And I do feel like it made a difference. And even if it didn't really make a difference, just because I felt like it made a difference, it did make a difference. So, now we're just tucking these corners down in here tight. Now that the screen's cut, let's tuck it in there nice and tight without damaging the spline. I mean, and it really, especially in the corners, really tucks down in there. playing nice now. Oh, yeah. That is looking real good. Alright. Back to time-lapse mode. We got 3 to go. Alright, so now we've got to make an actual frame. So I bought this frame kit. The frame kit, 60" by 60" maximum size. Includes the 4 aluminum frame corners, 2 pull tabs, 2 side tension springs. So it's got everything we need to make one. Now what I've got to do, I'm going to take the existing frame that I have, right, and I'm going to make sure that I make this the exact same total size. So the way I'm going to do that, first of all, I'm not going to cut the screen that I just put on. So, let's get this. Okay. First thing we're going to do is make sure that we have this set up. It's already got spline in it too. Alright. So the sides are slightly longer than what we need. Okay. I'm making a mark on one. And you're going to want to make sure that they are reversed, right? You don't want to cut them both the same way. I guess you could save yourself by flipping it over, but I'm just trying to make this easier on myself right off the bat. Marking X's on the sides. They're trash. Only a little 2-inch piece that's going to be left over. Now, for the width of this, right here, boom. I prefer this over measuring, just because I feel like it's slightly more exact. The only thing I'm not 100% about is how the corners are going to work. Are they the same size, or do they create a little bit of extra space that I may not want? They look identical. Okay. Alright. So, let's cut these pieces. They're just going to be cut straight. So, I'm just going to use a hacksaw. I'll be right back. Alright. I've got my dimensions already. So, let's get the screen out of the way so we don't mess it up. This is kind of a rewarding project here, just because it's one more thing I can add to my arsenal of skills and ability. So, where did I make my mark? We're looking, bang, here it is. Okay. So, there is 100% a better way to do this, but this is the way I'm doing it. Because this is aluminum, it should go fairly quickly once we get it started. I'm not as delicate with my right hand. Once you get it there, you can spin it back and forth, break it. Okay. So, that's the size we want right there. Mark my knife, and I put it over here. I tell you what, I almost want to cut it. Can I cut it with this knife? Good shot. Okay. Okay. So now we got two identical pieces here. Great. Scraps. I'm already thinking in my head, hey, I could make a little sample one to show people what it should look like, could look like. Okay. Right. one more piece to cut. Then get the screen in. Okay, now scraps out of our way. We are going to assemble windows generally put together. Okay, and our tensioners at the top, just like we did with the other. Now what I'm going to do with these are going to be to help pull the screen in to place. So those are going to be on the inside here. So when I pull the spline out, I'll put those in. I want to have about at the same height. Probably could have pulled this spline out to start off with, but one piece, two piece. And I have never built a frame. Uh-oh. I stopped recording. I've never built a frame before, so this was pretty easy. Now we got to do is throw the screen in it and put a screen in it, and then it'll be done. So there's no spacer bar in this, but I guess it's strong enough that it doesn't need one, maybe? I don't know. It'll be okay. Alright. Now it's the same process as you've seen before. We are gonna roll out the screen. We're not going to lose these pieces that keep on falling on the ground. Boom. Okay. Looking pretty good. Get this slightly shorter. Just speed and ease. We're going to go ahead and cut this right here. Okay. Maybe ease. Okay. I just want to make sure that our frame corners are still pushed together tightly before we start putting the spline in. Okay. Alright, let's put the spline in, roll it in. We'll be all done. One piece. Short piece. Where'd the little short piece go? Thought I just threw it on here. Here it is. Just gonna roll this in, trim the edges. We are gonna be good to go. Except the pulls that I said I wasn't gonna forget, that I forgot. Maybe right in here. And I pull this out a little bit. There we go. Sneak this in. Sneak this in. too horrible of a mistake there. Okay. Hopefully this side is just as easy to get out. It is. All right. Nice. Finish just getting this one rolled in and trimmed, and we are done.
You got them all done?
Yeah, all the others are already installed.
Oh, at the house?
Yeah.
Look at you,
And
baby.
then I just had to come back and use one as a template to make sure I made this one the right size. So this is the only one that's slightly different because there's no middle bar on it. And I made a YouTube video and I'm recording it right now. So hi, this is little Shy
Hi.
and fiance. We're live right now. We got 48 people live streaming us.
Do we really?
No.
So, oh my God, we're famous. We're famous. Woohoo! Look at Daddy.
Yeah. So I'm going to just create an invoice. I believe that this should have been somewhere in the ballpark of $3,000 to do. So I'm just going to do, special discount, neighbor discount, short commute discount, fiance
Baby,
discount.
this looks great.
I think so too.
What were we quoted for these to be replaced?
Almost $500.
And this, how much did it cost for the
It was
supplies?
like $60 for that roll of screen, and then I think it was like $10 or $12 for this spline stuff, and then
Wow.
the tool was $5. I got new razor blades and stuff, just because it was something I thought I should do. Anyway, to redo all the screens, I think, and this is a screen kit. You actually build yourself a whole screen. The screen kit was $25.
Now, where does this screen go?
This is one of the ones by the living room.
Wow. Looks great. This is darker screen too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's called invisible screen. It's supposed to like disappear basically. I think it looks about the same as the old one did.
Well, this looks fantastic, baby.
This
This looks really good.
I'm starving. Girl. You too, Shy Shy.
She just woke up from her nap.
Perfect. This really wasn't bad. And there was one that I like accidentally cut the middle of it, but I was able to just pop it out and recut.
That's how you what?
So this is one more thing
You're
I
a
can.
master of all trades, aren't you?
I think so.
You really are.
Only thing is I'm not a master of right now is health and fitness. We can work on that. My back is killing me from
Baby,
this.
everyone knows you work on fitness in the winter. Come
Yeah.
on now.
All summer I've been working on fitness pizza in my mouth.
Fitting them drinks in my mouth. I'm already ready for a drink.
Me too. We gotta get Jiggy Jake the football.
Oh yeah, I gotta finish this grocery order. I gotta go to Weiss to pick up prescriptions, so
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you want me to do that or if you're doing that, because weren't you supposed to go to the post office?
Yeah, but now I'm doing the post office tomorrow because there's stuff I need to get from the P.O. box in Jefferson.
Oh, okay. Alright, well I still need to run out.
Yep. All right.
I thought the Dutch market was open. I was gonna go to the Dutch market.
Thursday, Friday for Dutch market.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. This one's got a little bit. This one's a little bit looser than the other ones, but
Okay,
it's all done.
this all looks great.